This episode of the Mike on Much podcast is in partnership with Jameson. Good things come in threes. Welcome to the Mike on Much podcast. I'm your host, Mike Veerman, and I'm here with my friend and trusted producer, Max Kerman. We're also here with our pop culture aficionado, Shane Cunningham. And joining us on the ones and twos is intern Erica. Max, you're back from the road again.
Feels great to be home.
I feel like we get you in these pockets where you pop into Ontario and then pop out again.
Yeah, the rest of the year is kind of like that. Actually, only for the next few weeks. So I'll be gone to Halifax. Any listeners coming to the Halifax show, we look forward to seeing you there on Saturday night. And then the following week, I'll be back until Thursday, and then we go to Banff. The following week after that, back till the Thursday, and then we play in, I don't know, St. Catharines or something. So.
And we'll be doing some call-ins while you're gone, I think.
Really? I think I'm around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to check the schedule.
Yeah.
Manager Ash has it all
in a Google Calendar now. It's good.
Yeah.
Very organized.
Besides the Tiger Cat Stadium, where's your favorite place to play?
Is Shane turned into a hard-hitting interviewer?
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
Is this like a fan Q&A at like the meet and greet or something?
In a way.
Yeah.
From me. Well, I just want to know.
Well, it kind of depends on. I mean, sometimes the small venues are cool. Like we're playing a thing for a radio station out in Calgary, in Banff though, which is an hour and a half outside of Calgary, and it's at Wild Bill's Saloon on Halloween. So that should be cool. So it's a little 300 cap venue, but it should
Can
be
you
awesome.
reveal what you guys are going to be wearing?
Actually, we've been struggling with this. Maybe this is a good opportunity to brainstorm some potential costume ideas for our Kells and the Northern Soul Horns. That means there's 8 of us that are doing it.
You could be the Hateful Eight, Tarantino film.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually good.
Yeah.
Wait, is it?
Well,
because there's 8 of them. 8 of us.
Yeah, but nobody would ever know who you were with any of those characters. They're not that iconic.
We're the Hateful Eight, but
But they'll
come in
still
peace.
kind of look like Western, though. That's the thing. They wanted to, so instead of doing like Cowboys, which is generic because they're doing Wild Bills.
People will still just think they're doing elaborate cowboy outfits.
But then when they ask them, it'll seem like they put some
okay,
thought into
I
it.
just have a aversion to questions where you have to ask. Because Alex had a bunch of ideas for Lucy, and all of them required like 15 questions. I did not like it. But I think we're going Mr. Clean for Lucy. But anyway.
I'm really doubling down on the bald-headed thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy costume, too. White T-shirt, earring.
Exactly.
Oh, that is funny. That's very good. Yeah. Any other suggestions
Eric,
for
any
our
good
Kells
group
and company?
costumes?
No, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing's special.
Okay,
Just
what
like-
about Ninja Turtles and then the bad guys?
Or Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones, April,
Splinter would be amazing.
and Splinter. There's the other. Oh, wait. We're down one still.
Yeah, we did think about the Ninja Turtles. That came up.
And who would the 5th Arkel be if 4 of them get turtles? I
That's
guess
true.
Splinter.
Splinter's the leader. You
Wah,
be
wah.
Splinter.
No.
You as Splinter would be
Yo,
hilarious.
Be the Power Rangers.
Yeah, I've thought about the Power Rangers. There's 5 of them too, right?
Yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah, I know we're gonna.
And the rest of the guys are putties.
What are putties?
The bad guys, the Power Rangers always kick the ass. They
I
dispose
see.
of them very easy before the like big bad guy comes.
Sure.
Like the Transformer thing that's not quite a Transformer.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll think on it. Maybe listeners can send it in because
Listener feedback is welcome.
this will go up at some point either tonight or tomorrow morning, so there'll be time for you to they can affect your costume choice.
Yeah.
They can actually maybe change the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right, listeners, write at us, Twitter. Think of a good costume for 8 people playing in Banff at Wild Bills. What else has been going on? Big night tonight, guys. The Toronto Raptors open up their season at home as the defending NBA champions. They are raising a banner. They're giving out rings to everyone who is going to this game.
Hold on. All 18,000 people
That's what they say.
get a ring?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, man.
It's a
Oh,
high
that's
ticket.
why
Max.
you wanted to go so bad.
Oh, yeah, because I don't love basketball. Like, I
Oh,
give a
no,
shit about
no,
a piece
no.
of jewelry. Oh, the ring! I've only invested 2 decades of my life, and it's like, oh, the ring! No, I don't. I just wanted to be there to watch the banner get raised. It's never going to happen probably again in my lifetime.
But you do like costume jewelry.
Oh, yes. If there's one thing about me, it's my penchant for costume jewelry. No, I mean, listen, I'll love to have the ring as a keepsake for sure, but it's going to be like a fun little, like, is it going to be any really, it's like a bobblehead, the ring.
You know, so for
It'll be
our
like a
listeners,
replica.
Mike was looking around to see if we had any tickets because usually there is a line on tickets.
I was working every angle
It's been
the
a
last
tough
week and a
go,
half.
and it looks like it's not happening. But I do have someone we can blame. Or is it
Oh,
happening?
Mike's going.
Oh, I'm going, brother.
Oh, you're going.
You're like Ticketmaster. It's just so obvious Max has the tickets.
I'm so sorry.
Honestly,
Mike's gonna be
the
in
last time I talked to you, you were still looking.
But
and then
you definitely have tickets because the listeners don't know.
Oh,
Everyone's
yeah,
probably so
I'm
curious.
going. Yeah.
Yeah. So my plan was always going to be like maybe I have a direct line. Maybe our friend the Nut can sort me out with like I can buy a single ticket, whatever. I just wanted to be in the building to watch the banner raised. But I am so happy to say that this afternoon I got a text from my good friend Jimmy, and he said, "Man, because me and him were talking about, I was like, hey, when's the sweet spot to try and get that single when the prices kind of come down right before they shoot up again? And he was like, don't worry about it. I have you covered.
Ah,
I know.
so he's bringing you.
He's bringing me, man.
Damn, that's amazing.
Great dude. Because you, and I will say, Max, you were very nice. You were trying to find.
I was trying to.
Hell or high water, you were trying to get me into that building.
Yeah,
I
I know. Like, it's one of the things you can feel out the situation, and there's some shows or events that you can go, okay, I totally know my way in here, and there's other ones where everyone's like, fuck, buddy, like you're lucky to be getting in the fucking building. So I'm like, okay, so you had to kind of tread carefully.
How many Arkels got in?
Just Mike and I are going. Mike D, our guitarist. But I was gonna blame somebody.
Oh.
Yeah,
I was hitting up our friend Sara at Ticketmaster. I was seeing, and everybody, the consensus, everybody was like, "This is the hottest ticket in town. It is so hard to even find a single or even to sell one at face value, like from from MLSE or whatever."
But what I heard through the grapevine, we might need to cut this, is Elton John's coming tonight.
Yes,
and that motherfucker wanted 11 tickets. So listen, it's one thing to ask for 2 tickets, one thing to ask for 4 tickets. When you ask for 11 tickets, guys like Mike Veerman don't get in the building. That's really the issue. I don't know.
Do you have
on
seats?
the court? Elton's got a great jump shot.
But like seats. Like, are you courtside?
I'm not courtside, but I'm assuming they're decent seats. I don't know.
I had a joke about there being feathers all over the court, but I won't say it again. Because he wears boas. Yes. Wasn't a good joke.
You know what's funny about that Elton thing? I'd heard the thing about 11 tickets too, but I thought it was 11 tickets to the Elton show.
Oh no, I think it's 11.
Elton wants to go to the Raptors game.
Well, he had a show booked tonight, and then they had to move it. So I bet you he said, if you move my show, give me what I want.
Well, we kind of did that. Arkels did that in Edmonton because we had a show, and then Justin Timberlake needed to reschedule his 2 nights at Rogers Arena. So we said, okay, we'll switch with you, but you need to give us tickets to your show. And we got to go to Justin Timberlake.
Do you think he's going to give the Raptors tickets to his show?
I don't know. That'd be cool, though.
It'd be interesting to see who goes.
Yeah, Marc Gasol I could see enjoying because he's a cultured guy. I don't know, like maybe guys are into like sort of old school like dad rock.
Maybe, but actually on that note, speaking of basketball players and piano players, there's a really charming clip from the NBA preseason of the Canadian Nikhil Walker. He's on New Orleans. He's a Mississauga kid.
He's cousin of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, are they cousins?
Yeah.
And what's his full name? Nikhil Walker Smith or something like that?
Alexander's in there.
Okay. Anyway, he was put up to the test to sing on the court to like a bunch of fans. Did you see this clip?
Oh, yeah, I saw this clip.
And he sings Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles perfectly, like a whole verse. He knows all the words.
Oh, yeah.
It was very good.
But his voice wasn't good.
His voice was okay. It wasn't bad.
It was comically perfect.
Yeah, it was good. But I was just like so impressed with some because that song for any 19-year-old is a little out of the sweet spot, right? Like most 19-year-olds don't necessarily know that song. So I was impressed that he knew.
Do you know that song, Erica?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but she's like 24. So
that's true.
How old are you?
23.
23.
Oh,
Okay. Whatever.
Oh, right. 23, yeah.
I have a question for you, though.
Yeah.
So you've given me 2 of the best Raptor gifts of all time, which is the OVO hat, that's a super elite special item, and the shirt from the playoffs, the OVO shirt that looked like the DVD symbol. I'm asking you, do you want to complete the trifecta?
You know what? I've already been thinking about how I can stash more shirts into my jacket.
Fuck
tonight.
the shirts. I want the ring. Okay. No. Just if you see, last time, I don't know how you did it. You saw one laying around, you just snatched it away.
Listen, if
a
I can
ring
snatch
is so easy.
If I can snatch a ring, I will do that.
How do you think they're giving out these rings?
Yeah, they can't be on the seats.
It'll be when you walk in, but as we know, Max gets brought to the Super Elite Lounge. Maybe they have them laid out for all the VIPs.
That's a good question. Actually, the normal lounge I'm going to isn't available tonight. So maybe
Elton's in there.
Elton's in there.
Is that true? I was just.
I think that's what I imagine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wait, are you in a box tonight?
No, we're in some seats.
Oh.
Also, shout out Ash. Manager Ash really tried.
My one question though is that the last time you were in the building for something special, one of the Raptors wins, you did say I would have liked it just as much to be at home watching with my friends.
Yeah.
Do you feel that is it different because the banner raising in the building?
Well, none of my friends are watching this.
Oh.
See, the difference was in those playoffs. Every time there was a playoff. Sorry, Shane. you'll be in Hamilton. I'm watching. You had a really sad look at us. No, you'll be in Hamilton with your wife and baby. Our buddy Hams will be. He's got to work, so he's not doing it. My brother who works for Toronto FC, he's flying to New York. So no one's around in the city to like sort of really get hyped for this banner raising. Every one of those playoff games, it was like an event every time, so people were around. But by the way, I would have loved to have like watched it at home with Danica. That's not an issue. I just feel like it's one of those things that like I want to be there for it. I was there for when they went on the Eastern Conference Finals. I went to a finals. It's just like I put so much time and emotion into it. It's like I got to see this banner get raised. I want to say I was there. I want to see when they hand them the rings.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool, and it'll be nice to have the stupid little ring.
Weird question, but humor me. Let's say you have to choose between being blindfolded for the banner being raised or getting the ring.
Right.
What do you take?
That's a really good question. Oh, that's a good question. Shit. I guess, well, so there's two ways to think about this. One, I can always watch everyone's reaction to the banner get raised.
Now, here's another thing.
Yeah.
You always have to wear a blindfold anytime they replay it on TV.
Then I see the banner over the ring.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, then I'll take that caveat away.
It's tough, man. I don't know. The ring's kind of fun. It's like a funny little keepsake, right? But to be able to see everyone's like faces in real time. I guess you take the thing that you get to keep forever.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, is Max fiddling with the microphone?
Yeah, and his weasel is touching his wire.
I like that you whispered at him, but into your microphone. so all of our listeners will hear.
It sounded like something really bad was going on. Oh, Max, stop.
For our listeners, Eric has the headphones on, and Max is fiddling with his. You heard what happened.
Fiddling with the microphone cord. That's all I'm fiddling with.
That's all you're fiddling with over there.
I'm sorry, but it causes issues.
But anyway, I don't know the answer. Max, what about you? The ring or the banner?
I don't really care about either, to be honest.
Wow, you're just living a sweet life.
I do want to complete the trifecta.
I know. I mean, I think I'm curious to know what it looks like and all that. I'm grateful for going, but I don't know if I care that much about either, to be honest. But I mean, I'm very happy.
We're going to get to see history tonight. I'm very excited. And big fucking shouts to our friend Jimmy, who listens to all these podcasts for hooking a brother up.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Anything else going on in our lives? Should we move on to topics?
Couple little things. Shout out to two pod fans I met in Grand Rapids. I think they live in Detroit. One's a Shaniac. They drove to the show in Grand Rapids. They took a photo. I think they might have tagged us, but two lovely ladies. So shouts to you girls. It was nice to meet you after the show.
She messaged, and I promised we'd have a meeting about how to ship merch out to people.
Okay, good. We'll do that meeting.
Okay.
The other funny thing... just want to get your opinion on this, is I went to the Tegan and Sara show.
Yeah, I saw that on social. And
I want a big shout-outs to those two gals. The show is amazing. I've really admired them from afar for a very long time. You know, they've been sort of pretty famous for like 20 years now, and they were kind of famous in the indie world for a while. And then, like, when their big pop record came out a few years ago, like, they're on stage with Taylor Swift. They're just very well-connected, ambitious people. And I know they're aware of us. Their management knows our team, and they put us on the list for the show on Saturday night at the Winter Garden Theater. It's a great show. And for the after show, a bunch of us kind of got dragged back there. Not dragged back. Sorry.
Can I just say, I think we were driving maybe back across America. My brother and I were with you and Nick, who plays bass in your band, Arkels. And was it that trip or was it a tour we did with you? But I was there the moment that Tegan and Sara followed you guys on Twitter.
Oh, really?
And you got genuinely excited.
Oh, that's so. Probably would around then.
You were like, "Fuck yes!"
Yeah.
Like, what? You're like, Tegan and Sara just followed Arkels back on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
It was a nice moment.
So I'm a genuine fan, and so we go back after the show, and they have a little meet and greet room. I saw Ann T. Donahue, by the way.
Oh yeah,
she said she had dinner with you the other
lunch.
ago.
Yeah, we had lunch. Yeah, she was great conversation, really fun hang.
Yeah, she's awesome. I'll get to that in a second, actually. But they come into the room, and I don't know if they totally remember because they meet so many people. They don't live in Toronto. I'm like, hey, Max Arkels. She's like, I know who you are. We did a fucking podcast together. Okay, bro. And like sort of disarmed me immediately. And then we end up having a really like delightful conversation. And what they're amazing at is not doing small talk. Because it's so easy when you're in a room full of a bunch of people that want to talk to them to not talk about anything.
Yeah.
You just kind of offer a few compliments. They go, oh, thanks so much. And then they keep it rolling. But I said to them, I was like, the rollout for your new record's been amazing. Your performance on Colbert was so cool. Like you were interviewed by Terry Gross. And then Sara immediately got on and she's like, the thing is like, that's such like a landmark accomplishment for us to be on Fresh Air interviewed by Terry Gross. But once it happens, you realize it's like that's not what it's about. It's about the work itself, and it's about now I'm kind of a little bit lost and feeling a little, what do I do next? And it's you really realize now that the times you're most satisfied as a person is when you have work to do. And there was a bunch of little moments and observations like that in our 5-minute conversation that I thought was just made them special people because they were able to kind of get to the heart of the conversation quickly, and I think that's a really unique skill to have.
Yeah, that's great.
And so shout out to both of them because I'm sure they had that kind of interaction with everybody else in that room. The other thing is, so I talked to Anne Donahue, who's also, and she moderated their book conversation at Indigo because they put out a memoir along with this record. And Anne Donahue always makes fun of me for being too optimistic. She's like, fuck you and your Twitter, Max. Fuck you. You know, it's like, yeah, everything's so optimistic and joyful and blah, blah, blah. She's like, can't you just tell trolls to shut the fuck up when they're being fucking racist and all this? I was like, oh, that's not really quite my style. She's like, you got to do more of that, man. Fuck you, basically. But it was in a funny, like, lighthearted way.
Yeah.
And then when I saw, like, Tegan, she's like, listen, like I forget what we were talking about, but she's like, I'm a jaded old woman, not like you. You're so fucking optimistic and shit on Twitter.
She said the same thing.
Yeah, she repeated basically what Anne had said to me 10 minutes ago. So is my Twitter persona, is that annoying? Do you think it's annoying?
I don't find it annoying. Well, I mean, I don't follow you on Twitter, but in the times I have seen you on the mic,
come off disingenuous, I guess, because
no, it's who you are.
Yeah,
I think like you're an optimistic person. Like when we've talked about anything, whether it's politics or social issues, you always sort of take the side of like understanding and trying to see the best in the situation. I think that your Twitter presence reflects that. Would you guys agree? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think if I told you to fuck off, you wouldn't tell me to fuck off.
I'd be like, Shane,
where's this coming from?
Well, yeah, because I tweeted the following day something about the election, I believe. Let me pull this up. I was like, and then I sent the tweet to Anne. I said, Anne, how much do you hate this tweet? Because I said, go vote today. If you're feeling discouraged, let's remember the collective wins our country has shared. Roads to drive on, public schools to teach you, hospitals to heal you. Still much to be done, but let's keep building on that. And then she goes, it is a literal campaign slogan for awareness. What are you raising awareness for? Awareness. I'm like, I disagree. And then she's like, also, as an aside, our country has a raging racism problem. And then I was like, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to go into an interrogation room with the people of Canada. I'll be good cop. You'll be bad cop. I'll say, let's try to work out a deal. You say, we have a raging racism problem. And we'll probably get somewhere. Me in the middle of that one.
You guys, cop team.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what happened to me on Saturday night. It was a great show.
It's a fun evening. So you've been back since when did you get into town? When did you get back?
We got back Friday, and just been back and forth between here and Hamilton. It's been
Did you have a night out? Did you do anything? What
did
you been up to?
What did I do on Friday?
I
feel like I did something on Friday, which was fun. I don't remember.
It all happens. So
it all happens. Whatever. Who cares? Let's get to topics.
I also have a social life to talk about. I hung with two pod fans.
Hey.
One of them works in this building. Cody Parn and Bethan.
Oh, because they were the Newlywed Game, and we saw Cody outside this building the other day, and he said, I work here now, and I'm having to be with Shane. Yeah.
Does he still have handlebars?
I always kind of see them.
Mustache.
Yeah. But, okay, so I always thought Bethan was the big fan, and Cody was kind of a fan who just happened to be wearing a Mike How Much sweater in their Tinder photo. But Bethan doesn't even give a shit about us, really.
Oh, really?
Or she's playing it up like she doesn't. She's almost got like the... I'd say she's the anti-Donahue, and Cody is a total Max. And I was not expecting that because Cody dresses kind of cool, so you'd expect him to be a little
more cynical, a little edgy.
Yeah, but he's like the most real, genuine fan in the world. And Bethan was like, "Oh, I met you before, and like my drunk friend dragged me to meet you." And
doing that,
pulling that thing, yeah. So.
Where'd you guys go?
Don't like her as much as Cody, but no. That's true, but I still like them both. But we went to what's that? Firkin.
They're by much there by the 299. So you guys, did you have a beer? How long was the hang?
Yeah, we had 2 pints. I was actually pretty nervous to meet them, so I pre-drank.
Because here's what listeners don't remember.
They're like 20.
I don't care how old you are. I'm nervous to meet people. What if I don't have good conversation?
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Not everyone could be Tegan and Sara.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. What people don't remember is Shane had set up this Newlywed Game where he had a bunch of questions to ask Cody and Bethan. And then were you sick? Was that it?
I was sick, yeah.
You were sick. Erica had to host it. So we'll go back. Well, you can check out whatever episode that is. So this was your first time meeting them after corresponding with them on the internet.
Well, this was after, and if you remember that, it's because the first time we recorded with them, over the phone.
We lost the audio.
Oh, yeah, that was a heartbreaking day.
So then I was like, the day they came in, I was like, oh, I'm sick. And they're like, are these guys fucking joking? And they were like, no, we're not going to do the Newlywed Game. Because they thought it was just going to be, no offense to Erica, they thought it was just going to be Erica running it. I was like, don't worry, Max and Mike are going to be there. It's going to be a big thing. And then when we were supposed to meet up today, I think I had 2 times I had to cancel on these people for various serious reasons. Like one, Alex was in the ER, and for another one...
you don't cancel on things very often.
No, I don't. And there was another one where I had to go to a show where I got last-minute tickets for. A show that I will not talk about.
You will not. Cool. So it was a good hang, though.
It was a great hang, and the conversation was perfectly fine. There's nothing to be worried about.
I wasn't worried.
No, I'm saying for me, there was nothing to be worried about.
Oh, okay.
Like you did a good job.
I did a good job, and they did a good job. Because sometimes you're not pinging and ponging, you're just ponging, you know? It was a good ping-pong relationship.
That's great.
And he left me with Bethan for the first 20 minutes.
Where did he go?
He was running late. So he's like, oh, Bethan will be there. So I was like real nervous to just be alone with her. But I think it went fine.
So what does Cody do? He's in the biz.
Cody is a closed captioner. Which it's very crazy skill because he has to watch TV and be listening to the TV, and he has a little like Britney Spears microphone where he has to regurgitate everything at lightning speed.
Wow.
So he's listening and talking. That's easier said than done.
It's quite a skill set.
Yeah.
So they live here now together?
They're just getting a place right now. Yeah, they're actually right now they're off to see the landlord.
I like how this turned into an episode just about.
I loved them. They were really
Cody
cool.
and
I'd
Bethany.
love to
Well,
hang
yeah,
out
they
with
both
them.
lived in Ottawa, and then they got
Okay, enough personal.
Yeah, they were cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, are we going to get to some topics? Or
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
All right. Our topics today are we're going to do Mike Posner, who went across America.
Is it Posner?
Posner.
Posner.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Mike Posner went across America. He went from New Jersey to California? Was that New York State to California? And we're also going to talk about Jared Leto. What do you guys want to start with? I like opening it up to the group.
It's weird because Posner used to dress like Jared Leto.
Okay.
He dyed his hair green and would wear white makeup all the time for a very brief period.
Posner would.
It was crazy.
Like the Joker.
And he lost 30 pounds. He would only eat a meal every other day. Like I deep dove Posner last night.
Are you a fan?
I never knew who he was really. I knew he was on a song with Cher Lloyd like in 2012 called Feel Your Love or something, but he was just featured.
Big Cher Lloyd fan?
I am a big Cher Lloyd fan. Yeah.
I like that one song. She has,
Want You Back?
Yeah.
Yeah. That song's great.
Yeah.
But
Let's talk about Posner then.
So
Took a
we're
pill in
in it.
Ibiza.
Okay. Let's do Posner. Are you a Posner fan, Erica?
Kind of. Well, he's a bizarre guy. I know a little bit about him, and I think he's funny. I'm not a big fan of his music, though. No. Took a Pill in Ibiza is a banger.
But he started out as kind of like kind of a hip hop guy. Like he had that way of talking, which is like, oh, yo, this girl, like in interviews. And then he changed way more like scary talking, like kind of almost like he was on like harder drugs. And now he kind of talks more like a baby who's on weed.
Baby.
Have you seen his interviews?
No, I haven't watched any of these.
What would an example of a baby on weed sound like?
He's like, yeah, I just like, things are cool right now. That's exactly how he talks. I did a very good imitation, I think.
Well, he hasn't
Like,
he
especially
gone
the end
more
part.
like I'm the meditation guy
Yes,
kind of
that's
thing.
the vibe I get.
He
Yeah,
looks
big
exactly like
beard,
Bob Ross.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The painter.
Yes.
It's funny.
Are you familiar with this stuff, Max?
A little bit. I just know that he kind of like did the rounds in the last couple of years, like doing a lot of the podcasts that I like, and he was like profiled in like the New York Times, and he just basically had like the profile of like and I could be getting this wrong, but like a middle class Jewish kid from the East Coast, basically. And I think he's from Detroit. And I feel like between my dad and people my dad knows and people I kind of grew up with, I know his personality type. So the fact that he used to want to be a rapper and then now he's like 31, is now into like meditation and like mindfulness. Really rings a bell with me. It's like I can tell you I was wearing rockwear in high school and tucked my socks into my pants and like I just wish I was Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm espousing like, listen, we're all connected, guys. We have to have patience with each other. Like that, like
mindfulness.
That kind of shit. So like I almost cringe when I see the shit that he does because I see a little bit of myself in that.
You're looking in a mirror and it's uncomfortable.
Not quite a mirror, but it's a little too familiar for my liking, and I feel embarrassed.
No, I was the same. Look at me right now.
Yeah.
Like I honestly look like a Mike Posner right now if I had longer hair.
Shane is wearing a tie-dye shirt.
Yeah.
So
let's get. So what did he do? Let's tell the listeners. The listeners are like, why the fuck are we talking about Mike Posner?
So Mike Posner decided to walk across America. It took him 6 months to get from New Jersey to, I think, Venice Beach. And I think he released a song every week or something like that, or he worked on a song. He did something where he was sort of making music, going across the country by
This
foot.
is the least research he's ever done.
You can tell when I'm interested in the subject or not. But I did read the piece on CNN all about it, but I didn't. All they talked about was him doing the trip and the fact that he had to postpone the trip, I believe in Colorado, for 8 weeks because he was bit by a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
And that's how I heard about the trip to begin with. Like I didn't know that he was doing it. I don't follow him on social media, even though he's got a pretty sizable social media.
So here's the question, I guess. What do we think the impetus for the trip was? You know what I mean? Other than sort of his own journey of self-discovery. Because it's been suggested in the Pod Peeps group, I won't say who was saying it, but that it maybe was a PR stunt. Maybe it was like the idea that it's like, this
it was only a PR stunt.
You feel that way?
Of course. Why else would you do it?
He's an enlightened dude now.
Yeah, and do you want to know
It's a
why he went
cynical
on this
take.
path of enlightenment?
Yeah.
Hit us, Erica. Why
It
do you
was
want
because he was good friends with Avicii. They made that song together. They became great friends, and then Avicii suddenly passed away.
Listen,
He
people
OD'd.
grieve in different ways, but walking across the fucking continent
But
is.
then he became enlightened,
different
and
way.
then he came into this enlightenment and decided to stop cutting his hair and go on this Forrest Gump inspired walk. It seems.
And
I
it
don't
seems
know.
like I've watched hours of interviews with him right now. It seems like this is not an act.
Have you seen? He has one music video where he explains it all. That's why I know all this. For like a song that came out maybe about a year ago, he's like, and then my best friend Avicii died. It's like one of those videos where the music comes in and out, and then he talks. Half of it's filmed on his cell phone. It's kind of bizarre.
Can it be both? Can it be a journey of self-discovery that is like authentic, but also recognizing that it's an amazing story that's been picked up by every outlet? He was on
Yeah,
like
of
Good Morning
course.
America.
Yeah. Okay.
think so.
Sure. That's probably the way I ought to.
I don't know the answer. I'm just wondering.
Yeah. I just like.
But you're so worried about people thinking you're phony when you're being your true self. When if I didn't know you, I'd be very suspicious of your personality, Max.
Fair. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Maybe I'm a hypocrite in thinking that he's full of shit. But it just feels like there's sometimes when you see these like self-help whatever people or whatever, like they're so hyper aware of their brand where it just becomes like a little like unbelievable to me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
totally do.
and here's the thing. It's probably both. I think he probably comes by it honestly. If you guys have watched all these interviews and he seems sincere, then he probably is. But it's just like that extra, like if somebody just like did that walk. But here's my question. If he in another life, would he do that walk if he wasn't a musician? But he had the resources and the time to be able to do it.
Great
I just
question.
don't know
I think
if he'd
so.
do it. You think he'd do it?
Oh, I met someone on. I got to be careful with my words here to not reveal who it is. But I met someone on the weekend who I didn't even know who they were. It was a woman walks up. She's like, Shane, hi, and I was like, hi. I was like, I know you somehow. Did we go to high school together? She's like, no, I'm. Said her name. I was like, holy shit. She was handing out cards for her church. She runs like she's like a church leader. Mm-hmm. And this person was the total opposite of that like club go party person.
No, and by the
Like,
way,
it really blew my mind. And this girl had nothing to really benefit from it. Like she wasn't promoting anything. It wasn't a PR stunt. She just totally changed her life and way of living and values.
Yeah, no, and I believe that. I totally believe that. It's just when there's such a heavy PR element to it, that's when
And
I
it's
go.
monetized,
And
and
it's
this person's making
monetized, and
money.
it's
And
like.
his PR people are setting up interviews along the way with like Good Morning America.
And he's
or
getting every
Rebels.
massive
Yeah.
rapper featured on the album.
But
et
he
cetera,
can't
et cetera.
stop his career. It's like you got to go with whatever you like. It's like you're capitalizing off People's Champ, which is an anti-Trump song because it
Of
aligns
course.
with your values. But it's not just like you didn't just write the song to be that way.
Yeah, maybe I should like do more research or something. But I think there's something off-putting to me when people take themselves too seriously. It's not to take that they shouldn't take life seriously, because I do appreciate somebody like really trying to find like meaning in whatever they're doing. I think that's beautiful. But there's something a little extra to me when people like talk about themselves and what they're doing in a very self-serious way.
And like preachy way.
Yeah, it's just like that's why like I love sort of the opposite of this in my mind is Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Like everybody loves her and like talks about what a brilliant genius she is. She's the writer, director, star of Fleabag, in case you don't know. And she also wrote Killing Eve. Also is writing a new Bond. She's like a talent. She's like our age.
She's writing the new Bond?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
and Daniel Craig was like, I want this person to write it. But you know, she gets asked all these serious questions, and she like answers the questions seriously, but doesn't take herself seriously. I listened to the Fresh Air interview, and Terry Gross would ask her a very serious question about her like sexuality growing up, and she'd like, I don't know, there was an ease in the way she answered the question, which appealed to me at least.
But it seems like Posner right now, from the interviews I listen to, it's like he's thinking he used to take himself seriously, and now he's kind of removed like ego and all that from himself, which I know sounds all very pretentious and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's using his image in any different way than you are using your image.
Yeah.
To promote your band.
I just think it's such an extreme example where I'm just like,
You're like the nicest guy ever.
No.
You're
Listen,
extreme.
I think that when I put myself in here's the thing. I think I'm an ambitious person. I think I'm a busybody. I think I like to do shit and like push myself. Would I walk across the country for a fucking? I don't think I'd do that. That's insane behavior to me.
When I did read the story, I gotta say it actually sounded really appealing. Like in the sense that I was like, could you imagine for 6 months being disconnected in some ways and just working on your shit? Like if you had the resources to do it, you'd be probably in great shape because you're walking all that time. Yeah. You're gonna meet people. I like people. Like I'm gonna say that like for whatever his purpose was or whatever, I found the actual sort of act really appealing. Like I mean, and maybe it's just because now I could never do that with a child and all that stuff. But I'm like, oh man, that sounds really interesting to just kind of go and do that and for 6 months and see the country on foot and also while outputting work if that is what he did.
How do you think Danica would react to that conversation?
Oh my God, that would be it, man. It'd be like,
it'd be like I'm taking your baby.
Yeah, she'd just be like, well, that does not align with what we have planned for our life and what happened. And I'd be like, oh, well, you know, I'm enlightened. Good luck. I'll be back in 6 months with a bitchin' album
and a bitchin' body.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I actually see you were like, oh, do you really want to walk across the country? Doesn't seem like. Isn't there something appealing about that to you guys?
I was watching on Instagram the other day. Somebody walked from Hamilton to Toronto, and I followed their whole journey, and it was pretty awesome. Like I didn't even know that was possible. No, it was just in their story. They every 10 minutes.
How long did it take?
It took 17 hours, and they ended at the Keg.
That was sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
They started at 5 a.m.
Do you think if he wasn't bitten by the rattlesnake, this story would have even resonated with people?
I don't think we would have heard of it.
Right.
I
like his fans would have, but like it wouldn't have gone outside of that.
You need to be a Posner head.
That's what they're called. A Posner.
Yeah. Yeah, that's way better.
All right. Well, there we go. So Mac's a little skeptical. Shane is all in on Posner. Where are you at, Erica?
Yeah, good for him. He had a traumatic time a couple of years ago when he lost his friend.
And by the way, to your point, like anything else, once you get to know someone a little bit better, you become less judgy most of the time.
Yeah.
I think he's authentic, but I also find him extremely annoying.
Let me just clarify.
Yeah.
I know I've been defending him for the last
Yeah,
half an
it's
hour.
almost unbearable to hear him talk.
Oh man, yeah. I find the act itself, the execution of it, it seems pretty cool, man. I wish I had 6 months, but maybe that's just me longing for another time when life wasn't so busy and we had responsibilities.
Yeah.
You would do it if you had the means.
Listen,
and the time.
Yeah. I mean, like I've always had like dreams of like just going to live in Australia and sort of pay my way by bartending up and down the coast and playing acoustic. You know, like you have these fantasies, but then ultimately, you know, there's other things that I want out of life that would preclude doing something
Well,
like
it's about
that.
having the option to do something.
If I was a trust fund kid, like my life would look probably a lot different, you know, than it does now. But ultimately, I have to work in order to sort of set up a life for myself and my family. That is something that I, you know, in a way that makes me want to, sort of like I don't even know where I'm going with this. I see Max and Erica literally
like
keep
giving
they're-
hand
you're doing
signals.
hand
I
signals.
was fiddling with it again.
Oh,
You always do.
Sorry, and then I realized
I
it in
don't
the
want to
moment,
be the
and I looked
one
at you and said, I'm sorry.
telling
His
Max
microphone.
Kerman how to use a microphone.
Yeah.
But
oh wow.
I don't want to be that person. But
You should. If
just
you're
wanna give you
producing this
some
shit,
reminders,
fucking
you
do
know?
it.
Is it because
yeah.
you're so used to your voice being projected that this is weird or strange for you to hold a microphone without hearing your own voice?
No, I think I'm just like unobservant, like when it comes to this stuff.
Because when you're singing, you never don't have the mic in front of your face.
Yeah, but I guess I can hear it come through a speaker, but because I
what
don't
we
have
just
headphones
said,
on.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Okay.
We need to
Sweet.
get some headphones.
Yeah, we should. That's goals for next year.
Either way, as I prattled on, I got very distracted by you guys giving each other like A-OK signals. You were like doing like sign language, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
Sorry about that.
Across the table. Do you guys want to go to the next subject?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Our next subject today is about Jared Leto. There was a big piece in the Hollywood Reporter about Jared Leto, who previously played the Joker in Suicide Squad. I guess when he and his management got wind that Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix were going to make a Joker movie, I guess he got his panties in a bunch a little bit because he wanted to make a Joker movie. I don't know if he wanted to make like a dark and serious one or if he just wanted to be able to sort of keep playing the character. But ultimately, the story suggests that Jared was so upset that he wanted to try and kill that film. He did not want it to be made. He didn't want to go forward after development. And when he found out it was greenlit, I guess he tried to throw his weight around as an Oscar winner and sort of a very famous name to try and get that movie done in. It did not work. Now that movie has made hundreds of millions of dollars. It will continue to make a lot of money. Jared Leto will probably never play Joker again because it's like, who really would want to follow that? And yeah, but the article was just kind of mean. Did you guys read the piece?
Yeah.
How they went into like how it's like he was super extra on the set of Suicide Squad and was like, we all heard this story. He went method and he was mailing rats to cast members like Will Smith and stuff like
I
that.
hate that stuff.
I know.
That's so lame.
Well, so did his cast members, you know, and it's like, and the director didn't like, and he went so overboard with the performance, and he was so actory, and so he ended up being in less than 10 minutes of the actual overall film. So he felt like he had a lot more to give to the character, and then I guess he just felt like this whole thing passed him by, and it's gotta hurt. It's like if you look at the pantheon of Jokers, you know what I mean? It's like you're looking at Heath Ledger, who won an Oscar for the role. You got Joaquin Phoenix, who most likely will
Jack
be
Nicholson.
nominated for a role. You have Jack Nicholson, who's a legend and kind of established what that role could look like in a sort of serious film. And then good old Cesar Romero from the 60s Batman television show. Even Mark Hamill is the voice of Joker in the Batman animated series. A lot of people consider like sort of canon and a beloved Joker.
The original guy who played Joker was Mexican?
Cesar Romero.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of his ethnicity, but
maybe he could be
remember him
Italian.
with the white paint over
Yeah,
his
of
mustache?
course, yeah.
And then obviously coming in somewhere near the bottom would probably be 10 minutes of Jared Leto as the Joker in 2014.
It just looks. I didn't see that film, but he looks so stupid as that character. The way he was acting was so unscary.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting about this is he ended up firing his like agents at whatever he left CAA for like WME or whatever, and because he felt like they weren't showing the amount of respect that an Oscar winner should have. Like all this stuff is in this Hollywood Reporter, and it seems well sourced and it seems legitimate, but it is a very gossipy article. I don't know why you put a story like this out other than to sort of just have a giggle if you're like the reader like me. Like I kind of enjoy that back behind the scenes shit. But my question would be like, do you think that there's ego in every business to the point where you try to like sabotage other product or projects in order to like sort of like, I guess, put yourself in an advantageous position? Is that just the way Hollywood works or business works or anything?
People are like that. There's a percentage of people like that everywhere, but yeah.
I mean, Hollywood has the outlet to be able to like, you know, put out the story in a gossipy kind of way. Because like Hollywood and DC politics would probably be the two places.
Right.
There's a lot of reporting on like the inner workings behind the scenes dealings. The reason why this one was funny for me is that actually, before I get in this, when it comes to like, I don't like gossiping about other people really. And I don't like telling stories where maybe people don't come off as good. But there's something about Jared Leto that you feel totally okay about it.
Yeah.
You know, and because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I've thought about like music reviews where it's like if like Pitchfork like killed like the new Coldplay record or something like that, I'd be like, you know what, Chris Martin like probably read that and you probably made him feel like shit. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But to like really tear apart a piece of art that he worked a long time on and cared about, that just doesn't feel good.
You don't get enough people talking on the record, like whether it's from his agency or from the people on set at Suicide Squad, unless you've somehow annoyed the shit out of people or they you're like. You've rubbed them the wrong way somehow. You know what I mean? Like, you never hear stories like this about Chris Martin because everybody's like, I like that guy.
Yeah, well, which is like kind of goes back to the example of Doc Rivers, the NBA coach for the Los Angeles Clippers. Like, reporters just love him. So I'm sure he's been involved in enough like mini controversies over the years as a player and as a coach.
Confrontations with players, yeah.
But because I think he has such a good relationship with the reporters, no one really ever wants to kill Doc Rivers. Yeah. You know, so it speaks to like, if you're an asshole, people like these reports are going to come out, and if you're not, then they probably won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's say the Hollywood Reporter came to you, Shane, was like, we're doing an explosive story on your colleagues at the Mike on Much. Do you have any comments about Mike, Max, and Erica's behavior? What would you say?
I would say I've said it on the pod, and I'll say it here between you and I. Max is the nicest guy ever. Max is what you see is what you get.
No,
that guy.
Okay, this is not very explosive as a story.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
And then they'd ask about Mike, and I'd say, no comment.
What about Erica?
No, Erica, she's a little picky when it comes to fiddling with a microphone, but beyond that, she's great. No, Erica's good. She hasn't lived a lot of life, but I feel like the life she has lived has been good.
Thanks.
She's a good person.
That's nice.
And I like her.
It's nice.
No, I like you too, Mike, and I was, of course, just kidding. You're a very good guy also, and very nice.
Oh, you know. Max, what would you say when they came searching for dirt?
Yeah. You going to throw me under the bus?
Yeah, it's good. Oh, what I do with Shane? No, yeah, I think we all get along too well. So this game kind of fell flat on its face. Sorry, guys.
Or you got to go in and be really authentic, like actually get into our picadillos.
I wouldn't do that. Next subject.
All right, gang, we are going to do a new segment that will be a feature on the next few episodes of Mike on Much, and it is called Taste Buds, where we discuss a single subject debating good taste or poor taste, because good things come in threes: Jameson, ginger, and lime, and podcast hosts. All three of us will weigh in with three unique opinions that suit our tastes. And guys, today we are talking about the weather, and I guess more specifically, talking about the weather. Is this in good taste, poor taste, or somewhere in the middle? Who wants to start? My taste buds.
I'm taste bud number one. This is Shane speaking. I like talking about the weather.
Ooh.
It's a great opportunity for somebody who's not great at small talk to have built-in small talk. So if I'm going to fill up my water receptacle at the
which is a totally normal way to say that. You sound
how
like
do
a
you
robot
say it?
right now.
A water bottle.
Okay. When I got my jug and I'm filling it with tap water, I sometimes you get a little bit of people hanging around, and you're a total weirdo if you say nothing and just stand there. But if it's extra snowy, you go, heck of a storm out there, eh? Then all of a sudden you got the next till the jug is filled up.
Till the receptacle.
Till the receptacle is all filled up. That conversation is the perfect length.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think it's in good taste because I think living in Toronto, there is a lot of change in weather, and the weather really does have a big effect on everyone's day, week, etc. So it's like if you're in the middle of a heat storm, you don't have air conditioning, that can throw you off. If you're in the middle of a snowstorm, you can get to work on time, that throws you off. If it's an unseasonably warm day in the fall, and you're like, I was out there in a t-shirt today, that's kind of cool. Like, I'm into all those things, and I don't like. And I think it can be a genuine conversation that people actually really care about. And I don't like it that after I have the conversation that I think was meaningful, I think to myself, oh, I was talking about the weather. Am I lame for that? Is that person judging me? Is society judging me for this?
You're made to feel so bad about it.
Yeah,
it's like joking about airline food if you're a comedian or something. It's like this huge lame thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're talking about the weather? It's like, no. I care about the weather.
And it springboards into great conversations sometimes. Like, oh, I forgot my jacket because actually my wife took it to work today. You let your wife take your jacket? All of a sudden you're talking about something way different.
Yeah, it's true. It's an entry point. What about you, Mike?
Like that, it spirals into a super intense conversation.
It's like, by the end of it, it's like, we're getting a divorce.
And then we're fighting. It's like, do you fight with your wife often? It's like,
You're
it's been a
married?
stressful time. Yeah.
Not for long, sister.
My jug is full. Gotta go. I would say listen. Two things. I don't mind small talk in general. I like small talk. I think it puts people at ease. Whatever. You got to do something to fill the time, like you said, Shane. If you're filling a water jug or receptacle, and also I'm not somebody that actively is checking the weather. Like some people really like know what's up with the weather. I don't. So like if somebody's like, oh, it's really gonna drop, and it's like, oh, cool.
Now I know.
I'll wear a coat. I wouldn't check that on my own. So I'm getting
future weather.
I'm getting information from people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's what I like about it. It's like sometimes it's like, oh, it's really going to be raining after work. Oh, good to know. Maybe I'll wait out the storm. I guess I could see that, but at least I can sort of plan. Maybe it's like, I'll leave a little early. And
But you're
beat
a
the rain.
master small talker, so you don't get annoyed by the hack nature of weather.
No, I don't. I mean, listen, like, again, if I'm learning something, it's good. And ultimately, like, the reason I don't mind small talk is because, like, I do think some people feel uncomfortable having small talk, or they're just, like, they're uncomfortable by nature. If I can talk about something banal with them and it's like they feel at ease, then it's like, well, we did something with our time in this elevator.
Here's what I'd say, though. I'd only say it isn't bad taste if someone genuinely doesn't give a shit about the conversation.
I was
if
just going to ask that.
Yeah, if it's thrown off like, hot one out there today, huh, John? Yep. Okay,
That's
whatever.
actually pretty good.
No, I don't like that. It's just like you need to actually care about it because I think we can care about the weather. But if it's just like filling up space, then don't bother.
Like, don't say anything.
Stand there.
Nah, just shut up.
Just an awkwardness.
But if you're like actually interested in having a conversation about the weather, I'm in.
Right. So don't phone it in.
Don't phone it in.
There you have it. So in good taste or
In good taste if it's done right, like Jameson, ginger, and lime.
well said.